What is up, everybody? Welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. In fact, welcome to our monthly event that we do live at the end of each month. It's called the Monthly Comic Book Review. That's right. We're going to gather with an esteemed assortment of comic book YouTubers to talk about our favorite comic books of March 2025. Joining us tonight, as always, is Nick from Comic Culture.
What's going on, dude? Every time you introduce, I always think you're going to say a steaming pile of comic book YouTube people, but esteemed is much better than a steaming pile. So I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, you just wait. The deeper I get into this heel turn, you know.
Yeah, we're all going to be steaming piles of who's next.
Yeah. Speaking of steaming piles of shit, it's Stu.
Hey, you set me up, dude. You set me up. How am I? Yep, knew that was going to happen. What's up, fellas? So glad to be here with you. How's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, man?
What's up? Happy to have you here. Also happy to have Easy Dick. It's 9-panel grid. What is up, my man?
Doing fantastic, man. So happy to be here with all you, and so happy that Stu gave you that wonderful handoff so that you could not turn heel when I was presented on screen. So Stu, I appreciate you.
Yep, fell on the sword for you, bud.
Don't tempt my ass, man. Don't tempt my ass. All right.
It's gonna be a long night.
All right, this is the show, like I said, where we're going to be talking about our favorite comic books of the month. We want you out there to join the conversation. We see you, GT Key Comic. We see you, Eddie. We see you, Rogue Collecting. We see you, Derek. We see you, Southside Ronin. So let's get into it. I've told everybody already behind the scenes that I'm going to go first because I don't want anybody to steal my book. So I'm going with Absolute Martian Manhunter, issue number 1.
Yeah.
What a cool cover that is hard to show on the screen. There we go. There we go. That's dope. All right. I have been waiting for this book for a while. I've been a fan of Dennis Camp pretty much since the beginning of his career. I've told this story many times. I was the first person to review one of his books on YouTube. He was the first creator to shout me out as having reviewed his book. And I remember one night in particular, we had a very long conversation. And one of the big keys of that conversation was our mutual love of comics, but in particular, Grant Morrison, right? And I can see that vibe and that influence in Dennis's work, but Dennis has been able to separate his style from his influences, even though his influences are still very much obvious if you pay attention. Absolute Martian Manhunter. And since then, I've seen this dude's career blossom, right? Like we were talking behind stage, you know, Maxwell's Demons, 20th Century Men, Agent of World, and now we got Assorted Crisis Events and Absolute Martian Manhunter, also Ultimates. So now this dude is just blown up. And I got to meet him in person for the first time in Orlando for MegaCon. And I was like, bro, it's so cool to see you grow. And he's like, no, it's cool to see you grow. I was like, nah, shut up, man. It's cool to see you grow. And it was just one of those stupid, embarrassing moments that nobody needs to know about. Sure. But I just spilled the beans. Did you spill your beans? But that being said, I've been super excited to see not only his career blossom, but to see his talent blossom. And his books are getting better and better, right? He's turned Ultimates into a must-read, and he's pretty much now handpicked by Hickman to carry on the legacy, since Hickman's kind of like going off and to do Imperial and stuff like that, right? He's the one doing the Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion stuff, right? Or the big Incursion event or whatever, right? Yeah, he's doing that, right? So that has been announced. I hope it's been announced. I'm pretty sure it's been announced. But when I saw that, the absolute books, Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, we love them. They're great. They're fun. When I saw the batch of the round 2, wave 2, Flash makes sense. Green Lantern makes sense. Martian Manhunter? That's an odd one to pick before something like maybe Aquaman or Cyborg. You know, like there are other members of the Justice League, I think, that they would go with a solo series before, because Martian Manhunter is not a character that usually carries a solo series. Though there is a really great Joe Ostrander and Tom Mandrake run from the late 90s. During the era of Grant Morrison's JLA, that run is worth seeking out. I'm telling all three of y'all and everybody out there in the chat, if you've never read it, the same team that did the Spectre book did an extended run on Martian Manhunter. So I already love this character, and sometimes it feels like DC doesn't know what to do with it. So I was very interested to see what Dennis was going to do, especially with his artist, Javier Rodriguez, who we love on this channel. And when I reviewed this book this week, the only term I can come up with to accurately describe this book is that it's a psychedelic noir, right?
Mm-hmm.
It keeps the core concept about a detective who has now been, the core concept is a detective who was replaced by an alien from Mars. What Dennis does is it's a book about a detective who's been through an accident, and now as a result of that, or in addition to that, he is now being visited by a interdimensional alien consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Is an ultra terrestrial. Anybody that knows me and checks out my Teen Dog Shades nights, or hears my random thoughts, or just gets me drunk one night at the bar and just has me start going off on spirituality and UFOs and ghosts and shit like that. And you just wait, because you're going to see a lot of it in the show that I've been working on, Signal and Noise, with my buddy Scott. It's an ultra terrestrial, and there's a lot of Grant Morrison influences in here. Now, have anybody here, like, have y'all, any of y'all read The Invisibles?
Mm-mm.
Oh God, tried to.
No.
Invisibles by Grant Morrison to me is scripture. It's like one of the greatest comics out there. There's this entity called Barbalith, right? Which you could describe as an ultra-terrestrial intelligence. And it's represented by a red circle. Well, this Martian Manhunter has one eye,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a red circle. So as you're reading this, you see that motif repeated multiple times. The circles, but in particular, the red circle, right? You see it in things like that right there. That reminds me so much of The Invisibles, and I need to talk to Dennis and see, is that a direct kind of thing, or is it just kind of like a synchronicity, just kind of a happenstance thing? But I fucking love the book. I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was the best book of the week. I thought it was the best book of the month. And right now, and we're only 3 months into the year,
Here we go.
this is my favorite single comic book of the year. 100%. It is, I'm telling y'all, this is definitely going to make my top books of the year list. I can guarantee it, because I don't know where it's going, but I know Dennis's excitement for it, and Javier Rodriguez is amazing. We love his artwork. I love it. I did try to read it under a black light. It didn't quite pop like Octobriana or anything like that, but it does have a cool effect when you do it. Read it under a blue light or something if you don't have a black light. But I loved the book. I thought it was a really great, bold, and dynamic interpretation of the character. I thought it was one of the most unique reinventions of a character in the Absolute universe so far, of which we've seen 5. Green Lantern's coming out. I have read that. That one to me just doesn't. That one to me is like the weakest issue, #1. But I love Absolute Martian Manhunter. It's still core to the concept, and what it's doing is it's bringing back the strangeness. We've gotten used to John Jones. We've gotten used to Martian Manhunter and that whole idea. But imagine what that idea felt like in the 50s, right? And we've kind of taken that idea and we've evolved it up to make it creepy, surreal, and an incredible experience in 2025. Plus the gimmicky bit at the end when you hold the page up to the light and you can see the entity like possessing John.
Love it.
I love that.
And
That was
not
not gimmicky at all. So
and
good.
he's not
so
the
good.
Martian Manhunter. He's the Martian Mindfucker. I love it, dude. I absolutely love it. I think it's brilliant. And kudos to the team because, and also Hassan Ansman El Hal on the lettering. The lettering's very important in this book as well.
Yeah.
All 3 of these dudes want to make great comics, and that's what they do. They always try to push the boundaries of what we can do with comics and push the boundaries of, or blend or blur the line between the creators and the readers, right? We as the reader we are challenged to be an active participant in the book, right? If that makes sense. So I really, really like that. I think the book is great, and kudos to the team because what was a 6-issue series has now just been upgraded to an ongoing. So that's pretty freaking sweet. What did you think, Nick? That news was dropped today, by the way. What did you think, Nick, about Absolute Mindfucker?
Absolute Mindfucker #1 was, I thought it was outstanding too, man. It was kind of like a Fear and Loathing meets The Matrix meets noir detective kind of a story with some familiar characters thrown in, Martian Manhunter and whatnot. I loved the slow progression that our character has, where he's kind of, he doesn't quite feel himself. He notices things around him that aren't quite there. He's not paying attention to his job, or he's actually way more obsessed with his job than he should be, perhaps. But there's all these little details that the reader explores throughout the issue, and things get more and more insane as you go through. So I love the pacing of that breakdown, right? And then at the very, very end, you get this like flood of color and abstract art and things that Rodriguez does amazingly well, especially with this color palette too. Like, we know what he's capable of, and we've seen it most recently in Zatanna, and now we get to see it in here, like on an acid trip, right? So it did blow me away. I cannot wait for more issues to really see the merging of the two characters, right? And see how Martian Manhunter kind of like takes over completely, and see what that looks like. And then how that character interacts with the world around them, how it affects the family and the job. Like, I'm here for it, man. It was really exciting issue number 1. And I like the gimmicky stuff at the end. You know what I mean? You don't see that very often. You see die cut shit. You see some 3D stuff here and there. We got a Harley scratch and sniff, I think, this past week. What the hell is that? And you get some cool stuff like that too, where you actually get to see the image right through the page. And I dug that a lot, man. So it was a great package.
Smell that Harley book?
It was polybag, dude. I'm not ripping that open.
So I opened one up. I was like, fuck it, man. I'm the manager. I can make this executive decision. I opened it up, and immediately I went, oh.
Well,
and
it smells like a fart.
So bad. That shit was in my mouth all day long, dude. It smells like, it's like a rotten egg smell or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not even taking that shit home. I'm not putting it in my bag. That's why it was absent. Because I was going to do a bit, be like, smell of the week goes to, no, hell no. Hell no. Now, when I saw Dennis in Orlando, one thing he did tell me was, he goes, Robbie, I know you. I know what you like. You're really going to dig Absolute Martian Manhunter, man.
Yeah.
He's like, you're going to really like this book. It's like,
well, it's a great team on it, man. Why would we not?
It's a great team, great concepts. And once again, ultra terrestrials.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of ultra terrestrials, Stu is from another dimension here, gracing us with his beautiful presence.
Indeed.
What did you think about the book, my friend?
I love that transition. I loved it, bro. I loved it. Big fan of, like, I love Darwin Cook's New Frontier, and I love seeing John Jones, and that is the noir detectives teaming up with Slam Bradley. So it was cool to see kind of like a return to form in that sense. And for, like, as alien as this book is, it's John's humanity again. I think that really grabbed me. His, constant need to be on the job 24/7, kind of deceiving his wife about work's requirements of him. I love also that element of that relationship with his son and how out of touch he was, and obviously his son has something going on. So that was a really interesting layer to the character for me, dude. What Javier is doing though, and I was reading in the interview, I think on AIPT, that he's just using like the same 4 or 5 colors, but the way for these color blast pages, but the way in which he's using them, like the shot with the woman's fingernails, where it looks like the Manhunter's likeness. Like, there's so many
red dot there, right? Yeah.
There's so many panels where I was just in awe of it for 5 minutes. There's a shot with like John's glasses where his wife's haunting reflection is in it. It's just like there's so many brilliant pages like that. Yeah. And it's it just wowed me time and again. You coming off of Zatanna Bring Down the House, and the writing, how Tamaki was putting so many pages in his wheelhouse, I didn't think it could get much better, but the way they leveled up. And I second what you guys said about the physicality of the book, holding it, moving it around, holding it up to, like, I was in the passenger seat on the way home, holding it up to the sunlight, as my wife was driving. It's just awesome. Like, those are, that's going to be some moment, some kid or some reader never forgets. So, a fantastic opening salvo, and that's great news to hear it got extended today. So, hell yeah.
Yeah,
well
absolutely.
deserved.
It reminds me of, like, that issue of Batman. You may have covered this recently, Stu, but that issue of Batman that Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo did, when Batman's in the Court of Owl's labyrinth and you have to like spin it around and do this but it actually works. It's not like ridiculously boring or silly because of it. And there's a Jeff Lemire book called Trillium that kind of is like a flip book that always meets at the middle. And it's very, I love stuff like that. I love, one of Dennis's best friends is W. Maxwell Prince. It's no surprise, right? And he Dennis did a short story in the Ice Cream Man quarantine special, for instance, and it's no surprise, right? And I sometimes Dennis will message me and go, hey man, I've read the next few Ice Cream Man scripts, dude. Your mind's gonna be blown. And it was like, you fucking bastard. Like, this must be what it feels like when I tell everybody I've already read a book or something like that. But anyway, speaking of making people feel like a bastard, what about you, Eric? What did you think about Absolute Martian Mindfucker?
Dude,
I wish DC would have the balls to actually call it that.
Oh my god, I don't know if it would get the ongoing title if or the standard if they did that. But man, kudos to them for going that route if they decided to. Dude, you guys seriously like just knocked it out of the park with your description. Like, the best thing I can say about this is that I just read it today and I can't wait to dive back into it and read it again. And it's not because like I need to get a better understanding, right? Because it's not like the most easily digestible book, but I love the fact that Dennis Camp doesn't write down to the reader. Like, he respects the level of intelligence that you would expect for a person that's going to pick up a book like Absolute, you almost had me say it now, Absolute Martian Manhunter. Yeah, and then Javier Rodriguez, man, like, I've been an appreciator of his artwork, not for the longest period of time, but Zatanna was awesome. I liked him back when he was doing things at Marvel too. The history of the Marvel universe was great. Yeah. I particularly liked him on the Defenders series that he did with Al Ewing, though, and it got real trippy in there, but it was like a different kind of trippy. It was very magical trippy. This is a straight up DMT trip on the page, which is just like incredible. And even some of the color work that he does here, like, even outside of the trippiness here, like, if you look at the face here and just the way that he decides to color that, the color palette that they're using, still totally in line with what they're doing on the book. Not trippy at all, but like, still such a fantastic approach to take on that panel, man.
Very easy, right?
Yes, yeah. Good call. Yeah, it was a stunning book, man. Dennis Camp, we all talked about it, man. He's like, I can't even say he's rising through the ranks anymore. Like, he is just a person who demands attention. If you're a comic book appreciator, you got to look at the title that he's putting out, because it's all been quality. There's been no misses for me.
Hell yeah, super excited for all of the love for one of my picks this month, and not just, oh no, I didn't read that one, Robbie. It has a sense that also reminds me very much of like early 90s Vertigo. This feels like this would have been fit right in with like Pete Milligan on Shade the Changing Man and everything else that was going on at the time. And Introspect says not quite as trippy as Doctor Strange Fall Sunrise. I bet we'll get there. But the other thing too is
more digestible.
That Doctor Strange book, which I love, it is more digestible. You just said it. Like, exactly. Like, this is more of like, I think this strikes a balance that will work for people like us and the mainstream, or I should say people like me, Nick and Eric, and Stu. So I think that works very, very well. All right. That's our conclusion of Absolute Mindfuck. What about you? Speaking of mindfucks, Nick, what's your pick of the month?
I'm staring at like 4 books right now. Despite you having picked one of them, I'm still having a few options here. I think I'm going to go with the book that just made me super excited in every way possible, which was Sacrificers, issue number 15. So that was a solid ass book, man. We have recommender, of course, on this, Max Remora. We have Dave McCraig. We have Russ Wooten on it because he's doing like everything. So this one was insane because it was kind of like not the calm before storm. This was the storm coming in, right? This was it Rokos, I think is how you pronounce that dude's name. Mm-hmm. Our sun god, right? Our main bad dude, right? Our Zeus of this world, finally coming down, trying to find his daughter and just destroying the entire world in the process, right? Like, people pleading, trying to, survive the wake of his wrath. And he is merciless inside this issue. And he's all on this big revenge mission. His entire pantheon's falling apart. He doesn't care who he has to burn down to save whatever he can save, which is his daughter. He's got wind of where she is, and he's just wrecking shop right now. We have that other subplot we explored a little bit a couple issues ago, where Pigeon's meeting up with like the leaders that churn the world. Actually, that's like the gears of the world, right? That keep all that stuff going. And the people that make that possible, we turn them a little bit, got them on our side. And it's going to be the clash of the Titans coming up very soon between that force and Rokos and everything. And it's such an exciting book. The first half of that book had me at the edge of my seat. Literally, I'm like, I cannot believe this guy is going scorched earth on everything right now. The coloring was beautiful, as always, inside the book. It was exciting. It was fast-paced. It got my blood pumping so hard, and I'm just really, really excited to see the conclusion and like where we go from here in the story. Like I said, Max is doing a phenomenal job. Dave and everybody. And recommenders, man, he's knocking out of the park too. He's got a few books out, doing a really, really great job, and definitely a writer that was on my radar, but now more than ever right now because of some of the great stuff he's putting out. So Sacrificers, man, issue number 15.
Yeah, great issue. I love the Sun God Rokos coming in, just tearing ass, just tearing ass through the universe, just wrecking shit, right? And then the way it tees up what's to come, that confrontation.
Oh yeah.
And this book's been so good. It's been able to tug at my heartstrings. It's been able to make me just go, man, that's badass. And it's made me truly worried about what's going to happen to some of these characters, right? Rick Remender is one of those writers where sometimes, like, I always love his work, but sometimes I fall out of it, right? Like after a few issues, I'm like I feel a little bit lost, and I just kind of like then dip out and wait for it to come out and trade. I even did that with Deadly Class, and I stuck with Deadly Class for a long, long time, right? But this one, every single issue, I'm sucked in.
Awesome.
Sucked in. It's so good. And Max is able to give us so much of an emotive quality through the artwork as well. And in this issue, we see how big and boisterous and explosive it can be.
Oh,
Speaking of explosive, Stu was a little bit late today because he had explosive diarrhea, but he's good now. He's good now.
So we're keeping that in the back chat, bro. That's all right though.
Nothing wrong with being regular.
Yeah, right.
Even if it's explosive.
Yeah, I loved it. This was incredible. A bittersweet goodbye, given that, like, how long is it going to be until we get our next issue? It's going to be
September.
Oh man,
it's going to be a minute.
It's going to be
September.
But
who do they think they are? Saga?
Oh, God.
Yeah, I can't wait for the get back. This has been such an incredible series. Obviously, Rick is just killing it here and with Giant Generator. So many great books on the shelves these days. Max is just like Rokos is my favorite character design for this series. I just love the look of him, and seeing him go Super Saiyan in this issue was incredible. I love the shot of like the pull-out shot on the globe and seeing like what was really going on, the scale of what he was enacting.
Oh yeah, that wave
almost man, like cracking that earth in half, and Saluna almost getting caught up in it, barely able to get to safety. So it was an incredible cliffhanger. I can't wait to see what we come back to. This book has done such an amazing job, even when Max they had their fill-in artists like Arahu just keeping the aesthetic up, and just such a strong story, such an incredible world he's built just from the very beginning. So yeah, love this one.
Do you remember that month where Andre Lima Arahu was like one of the artists, and like most of us didn't even realize it?
Right. Yeah.
We didn't even realize there was a change. But if you look at those artists, they're way different styles. But like it's like the coloring, like kind of Dave McCaig? Is that his name?
Yeah.
It puts it keeps it together. There's another Rick Remender book, a Marvel book actually. He did Uncanny X-Force, which was one of my favorite books spotlighting Deadpool in particular. There's a bunch of different artists in that book, but there was the same colorist in every single issue, and it kind of kept it consistent, even though the artists had widely different styles. Speaking of wildly different yet consistent, that's how Eric describes his regular poos. So why don't you tell us what you thought about the Sacrificers?
Well, one of the things I wanted to ping off of, you were talking about the artist in Uncanny X-Force too. If you look at the lineage of that book, it really spells out everyone that he has decided to work with after the fact, right? We had Jerome Pena, we had Greg Ticini, we had Phil Noto. So it's like, it really goes to show what Giant Generator would become after he left Marvel.
Yeah, for sure.
In regard to Sacrificers though, man, this issue, it's just the same as every single other issue, man. It's stunning. I love the journey that we're going on. We talked about it last night here, and like, I love the fact that each character, you're forced to look at them from so many different perspectives, man. Like a person that you hated, you feel incredibly sympathetic towards later on. A person that you felt sympathetic for, you're kind of fearful. Like, is the sense of vengeance in his heart overtaking who he truly was as a person later on in life? Like, it's taking you through so many journeys with each one of these characters. And it's just like made so much better by that artwork that you guys were talking about, and the color work specifically in this issue, man. This is vibrant orange from page to page because the world is burning, and it's just awesome, man. It's a sight to behold. Dude, it's like I used to say that Deadly Class was my favorite work by Rick Remender. I thought that it was fantastic from start to finish. Still do. This is making it a run for its money though, because like we got to see how this plays out all the way. But right now, God, it's so strong. It has not taken an issue off. They haven't missed a beat. So
yeah,
I mean, it's a great pick, man. It was totally worthwhile.
Yeah. And I will say they also, if you're into the art too, they also reprinted issue number 1, black and white in that 11x17 format that you rarely see. You know what I'm talking about, with like the cardstock cover, maybe cardstock cover. So if you're into that kind of stuff, you can check that out. And it's not like the whole issue. There's a couple mixed match pages from, I think, issue 1 or 2, but it is well worth it. And they really need to start making more of those if it makes financial sense. Of course, that's why they wouldn't do it, I suppose. But like,
yeah,
it's incredible. I still have it like right there with my issue 1, like on display next to each other, because it's just such a cool thing to peek at every once in a while.
Yeah, you can put that right next to your giant 11x17 copy of Hush 2 #1, right? Like Batman 158.
I joked with my comic shop owner. I was like, "Does that mean?" I was like, "This is perfect for all the Batman fans that are 50 now." like yeah, if you read Hush when it was coming out, then yeah, you're probably around 40, 50 years old. Perfect size for you.
Speaking of perfect size for you, Stu, why don't you tell us what your pick of the month is?
Yeah, so I knew if I couldn't have one Dennis Camp book, I'd have the other. So I'm going to go Ultimates number 10, Dennis Camp, Juan for Gary. This series just continues to blow me away time and time again. I love how, Camp infuses the book with Marvel history, but also kind of engages with current events and politics in a very smart and streamlined fashion. It's just so well done. Kind of each issue or every other issue, we've been getting these new character introductions, and with this one, it's the original Human Torch, or the Ultimate Human Torch here, Jim Hammond, and the introduction here as he's burning Hitler alive is just so amazing, and him narrating how he's one of the world's oldest living computers, and he had to delete memories, clear out hard drive space, but he keeps this memory in full color and high definition. It keeps me warm, he says. I just love that line, man. And then Cap's like, all right, enough about reminiscing about the good old days of killing Nazis. Like, we got work to do. And I love Cap kind of transitioning into the leadership role for the team in this issue, as Stark is healing up. His style and stoicism was so well done. Camp has such a great voice for each of these characters, even the new ones he's introduced. I loved how Cap just didn't answer Tony when he was kind of belligerently demanding answers over the radio. And then the big reveal at the end, Bucky is the Red Skull. Not only that, but Super Soldier John Walker coming out to take on the team, and like the anticlimactic fight as Torch just lights his head on fire was so badass, man. This is just this is my favorite Marvel book. I will gladly be the Marvel shill for it. It's fantastic, and I greatly look forward to every time I see it coming out for a new issue. So yeah, Ultimates number 10 is my pick of the month.
Ultimates was great, man. I love the interpretation of the Red Skull. That big reveal of Bucky being the Red Skull. Oh, gut wrenching. You know that's going to be a big deal. That's going to blow up. I love that this is like the Invaders issue, but it's also got this tinge of tragicness behind it, because Namor, oh my bad, my enemies call me Namor. Namor is like been dead and stuffed this entire time. Like, bruh, that's pretty freaking wicked. And each issue is so great. I love the way Dennis is playing with it too. Dennis understands the importance of the single issue experience. He also understands the importance of a run and being able to tell a threaded story. And that's what he's doing in the pages of the Ultimates, man. And there's still so many things that he set up that have yet to really pay off. And when it pays off, trust me, I cannot wait to see that shit. What about you, E? What are you thinking?
Dude, I love this issue, man. I feel like we're gonna do the Camp triple dip tonight at some point here, because there's even more love to be given on this guy. Ultimates is awesome. Like, it's weird because like as a comic book appreciator, especially when it comes to the big two, Marvel and DC don't provide too many shock and awe moments anymore, especially if you've been reading since you were little, like most of us have, right? We've experienced so many things. This issue had 2 jaw-dropping moments, man. Oh, actually 3 if you think about it, because the way they opened that issue, it's like, damn, that was ballsy. Like, okay, that's the way you're kicking things off, like burning Hitler alive. Cool. I love it. interesting choice, man. I was really surprised that they were going to do that. Then we got Namor on the freaking wall, man. Like that page turn. And again, like you talk about writing for the single issue, writing for the page turn, man. He takes effect of that so well in this. So we get that. And then we get the revelation that Bucky, I mean, because Winter Soldier is now kind of Wolverine in this universe. Now we know that Bucky is the freaking Red Skull in this universe. Dude, he's making a Marvel comic exciting, and that is few and far between right now. So I will appreciate that all the time, man. Yeah. And on top of that, one more thing, I will appreciate any comic where it's all about punching freaking Nazis. And if we ever needed a comic about punching Nazis, maybe right now could be the best possible time for that. So I think this is a great pick.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. 1941 was a pretty good time for that too. But
second best time.
Yeah, there's a few years there that would have been great.
But yeah, I love it. It's almost like Captain America #1, Jack Kirby, Joe Simon. Captain America's punching, Hitler, right? Just punching him right across the jaw. Yeah. How do you top that? Dennis Camp and Ron for Gary?
For Gary.
They're like, hold my beers. Right? Yeah. Like how about burning a fucking Nazi, right? Like that's great. Burning Hitler alive. That's super cool. What speaking of burning Nazis alive, what about you, Nick? What do you think about this book?
I want to kind of elaborate somewhere on what you were saying about his approach to telling this kind of a story right here. A lot of the problems I have with comics right now is like that continuous thread that they have, right? And so he's found a way to tell an overarching story, but he's really highlighting on very specific moments, and he doesn't care about the shit in between, right? He's going to focus on this thing for this issue. We're going to skip the middle crap. We're going to get right to the next exciting thing. We're going to skip the middle crap. We're going to get to the next exciting thing. And we're doing this like hop, but it's still all connected and it all makes sense. And he's proving that it's possible to do that. We don't need the mundane crap like, oh, I'm going to walk to the store with my coffee and I got to worry about this other thing. And then all of a sudden a bank's being robbed and then I got to jump into the action and then 10 pages later, then the villain gets introduced.
There's not been a single issue where the Ultimates are just sitting around drinking coffee, talking about the state of the world and all this kind of shit, right? And that's established by Hickman, right? Because each issue of every Ultimate book is in real time. They're month to month, right? And I think they've all been kind of hitting that on the head, but I think Dennis has been doing it even better.
He's doing a great job. Yeah. Every single issue is exciting and it makes sense and it's a one and done thing and there's an overarching story and I've loved every issue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Great picks, Stu.
Thanks, dude. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Shill.
Yeah. Marvel Shill, but it's worth it, right? Nick was the Marvel Shill, but it was all because of one book. So maybe that's what's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I'm not even mad at it. It is what it is. Yeah.
I know. I had to own it too, man.
We'll have way more data this year. Way more
we
data.
Do. I update it live, guys. So
hell yeah. Speaking of updating it live, there
you go.
That's a weird bit. Eric, what about you? What's your pick of the month?
Oh, guys, you know it. You love it. It's Power Fantasy. Let's talk about the latest issue. Yes.
Let's go.
Issue number 7 by Kieran Gillen here with Casper Wingard on art. This was awesome. This was arguably the most exciting issue I think that this series has had so far. Yeah, look, bye-bye, Robbie. Go away. This was fantastic, man. It really spells out the nature of why we are in the landscape that we're in right here and right now within this world where the atomics, the superpowered beings have kind of splintered and scattered, and they have uneasy alliances where they're just kind of keeping this balance in place where it's kind of in the effort to make sure that the world doesn't just destroy itself through their, through their own machinations. This all takes place in the past when we've kind of been given clues and tidbits, and they keep referencing the second summer of love, but we had no idea what that meant and what it really was going on. And this kind of finally delivers what happens during that time and how our main players, Valentina and Magus and everyone, how they were all part of that in Aton. And how that what transpired right there not only splinters the group and makes things happen in present day, but it also kind of spells out exactly how they are going to be held in check in present day, as the catalyst for that second summer of love is also seen to have changed and maybe transformed into a different being that kind of trumps all of the other superpowers in this world. So dude, like, I think he's doing big, bold things here with the ideas of super powered beings here that you just don't get to see within a big 2 book here, man. Kieran Gillen, I feel like he's been holding on to these ideas and he wanted to do them in X-Men and just couldn't. But now we get to see it. And actually, I'm more excited that we aren't seeing it in X-Men because Power Fantasy is way, way, way better for it.
All right. Well, Eric, I'm not reading this book.
Yeah, I know. Sucks to be you, man.
But, I know it's become a bit here on the show that you're like the one guy holding the flag for Power Fantasy, right?
And
but
I
was
continue.
thinking about it. I was thinking about it on my live on Sunday because somebody had asked me like who should do the next. I don't even remember what the question was. Oh, it was Ultimate Teen Titans, right? And I started thinking about it, and then I was like, well, Alex Pagnadell and Casper Wingard, who worked together on All Against All, which was a great book. I don't think Titans is their book, but Ultimate Doom Patrol. I would love to see an Ultimate Doom Patrol from Alex Pagnadell and Casper Wingard, right? Then I started thinking, but he's being wasted on Power Fantasy. But then I was like, you know what? My boy Eric says it's really good. And I believe the first trade is already out or it's about to come out, right?
Yeah, it's out.
It's already out. So I trust you, Eric. I really respect your opinion on comics.
Look that's when Stu drops out. He's like, I can't deal with this BS anymore.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Trust and respect.
Yeah, no, but I do, and so I think I need to reread issue 1. I don't even know. I don't even remember if I gave it issue number 2. To be honest with you, I think I did, but I was already like trying to find ways to trim books off my stack, because weekly comic book review. We all do these shows, man. That's a lot of reading.
Hard.
That's a lot of reading, man. Yeah. This week. Jesus
this week was rough. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But I think I want to give it another chance because of all the love you've been giving it. Just to read it and tell you again, yeah, dude, it sucks. And you're wrong. But maybe I'll have a different perspective. What about you, Nick? Any have you started reading it or any thoughts?
Okay, Rob, yes, I have. I've caught up. So I will say it took me about 4 times to get through issue number 1. And I was like, I don't see it, man. I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. And I got to issue 2 and 3, and around issue 2 to 3, it clicked. And I was like, wow, this is actually really good. And it was in disguise because issue 1 is like, there's a lot of talking going on in that book. And there's a big moment at the very end that's supposed to make it all worth it. And what you see happening in issue 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, it's well worth it. So I would really recommend going back and getting through issue number 1 and getting into issue 2 and 3 and just see what your feelings are there, because it's turned into one of my favorite books right now, just because of the complicated relationships that everybody has. This is really like the X-Men playing chess against each other. Like Eric was saying, like the world can be destroyed and everyone's keeping each other in balance right now. And it's a very complicated book with a lot of relationships. We even get some Hickman like power meter kinds of things going on, right? We get some graphs, we get some cool stuff where it's showing you like the omega levels of these different people.
Like, don't they balance it by kills? Like 2.6 million.
It's by how many
kills
per hour or something like that. Like that's the power level, right? Like 600 billion kills per hour is like the Val's power level or whatever it is, right? And what we're seeing though in this series is there's some of these characters that are like avatars for these constants, right? So like in this issue here, we had like this avatar for love, and it was like an alien kind of a creature. But Eric, did we establish that this character like switched a little bit? Now she's essentially like, are we still unpacking that? We're probably unpacking that still.
Unpacking, but it's like I'm like 90% confident.
It's leading in this direction. It's leading this direction. There's this constant like evolution of these characters, and there's this one character that we're focusing on who's essentially a demon, right? Or she's like Satan or something like that, an avatar for that kind of an evil. But she's also very virtuous as well, which is a very weird dynamic, and it's very complex. I really recommend going back and checking it out. It's a beautiful book too. Interiors are spectacular, and yeah, man, it's great. It's great. Just get through the first couple issues, and I guarantee you'll be hooked.
Okay,
it's a simple story.
Yeah. So now we got Eric and now Nick convincing me to jump on this train, and now I'm kind of nervous because this is how cults start. Speaking of cults, Stu, have you joined the cult of Power Fantasy yet?
Yes, dude, absolutely. Get on that train, bro. Come on, man. Buy the ticket, take the ride. Yeah, dude. Like
buy the Nikes, get the hooded robe.
I mean, literally, this was the Summer of Love issue, right? And I love like this character and how they almost, this is as good as it's going to get, but it still wasn't good enough. And I just love that like, you know, they couldn't accept that flaw in humanity. And yeah, I just love the way they're able to tell these really, really fantastic stories about the past and about how the group dynamic between all these hugely powerful beings, you know, came to be in the present. It's fantastic. You know, I second everything both of these fellows have said. I think it should not be a bit anymore. It should just be a great book we talk about every month, because that's what it is. And the art is incredible. I love the color palette used. But yeah, man, it's got so many cool info pages, and you just never know what you're going to get issue to issue. The craziest shit can happen with these characters and their power sets and abilities. You know, the walking singularity, like it's right. Just so so great, like watching all these godlike figures kind of try to figure out how to coexist together. It's brilliant book. And I second everything these fellas said. So come on, bro. Come on.
So now the new bit will be, we all get into power fantasy, and then Eric will never let us live down the fact that it was he,
of course,
that was the one who stood by this
before book. It was cool, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's when I dropped the book. Yeah, I'm just like, God,
and then all of a sudden Eric's like, this book sucks, dude. They've lost the plot. It's terrible, man. It's terrible.
Yeah.
All right, what a great first round. Time for round number 2. Yep. I wonder if there's a Dennis Camp book left for me to pick. And I'm glad nobody else picked it. So I'll go with Assorted Crisis Events, issue number 1. Now, I've read the first few issues of this series. And
not fair.
That does paint my perspective on it. But this is such a cool book. So it's no secret to people that I don't like choosing sides in anything, right? Like in politics. Well, I do love choosing sides in sports. I really do. By the way, Yankees won game 1. Happy opening day, everybody. I hope your baseball team does well until they face the Yankees. All right. So Assorted Crisis Events, each issue is a self-contained story. Once again, Dennis Camp knows and appreciates the power of the single issue as well as telling a larger story. But it is no secret, in this whole Marvel versus DC war, I don't like to choose sides. But I do seem to get more excited about DC stuff because I just love the idea of DC cosmology, right? And in particular, what I'm talking about is the way the universe and the multiverse is created and maintained, and the crisis events, right? So Dennis is taking the idea of a crisis event and applying it to the real world. What would it be like if we actually had to live in a world as a regular person where crisis events were going on? Time, space are collapsing. Dinosaurs show up in Central Park. Your parents disappear. Your line disappear. Like all kinds of crazy shit, right? And that's what we're delivered in Assorted Crisis Events. And it's a great reflection on our modern day, where heinous things are happening, terrible things are happening, and this doesn't even have to be political. Right? Like you could think of it about it in a political way and point of view if you wanted to, but even just like, you wake up, you see the news, hurricane kills hundreds of people, tsunami kills thousands of people, genocide in this country, mall shooting, school shooting, and you see the notification on your phone, you swipe and just look at a cat video or some bullshit or some big titty girl or something like that, right? Whatever to distract you from that, because we're so used to it now. And that was something that was very profound and powerful in this book to me, was that even if time and space were collapsing, we would still just be carrying on, being like, yo, did you see the new season of Stranger Things is about to drop? Like, bro, like literally reality is collapsing. Aren't there more important things to worry about? No, but that's how we are as humans. Like we get used to shit, right? And I loved this issue. Plus you got the artist. This is the first time I've ever really paid attention to Eric Sawatsky's artwork and Jordi Belair coloring the shit out of it. Sometimes she phones her shit in, sometimes she doesn't. This is one of those books where she's not phoning it in. And once again, who's the letterer? It's Haas. It's Haas. Like Jesus Christ, man. It's such a good book. It was powerful. It was cool. It was interesting. But each book, each issue is a different story, but it does tell one cohesive narrative. I thought this book was absolutely amazing. Dennis loves the same kind of comics I love, and he's making those same kind of comics, but infusing it with his own vision, his own style. He's picking great artists, and usually when I review a Dennis Camp book, it goes the same way when I review a Darcy Van Polgeest or Ian Bertram book, right? Where I go, this is what it looks like when a creative team gives a shit about comics. Like, not just like trying to develop an IP, not just superheroes, but actually care about the art form of comics and try to elevate that to the next level. Push this medium forward. Ace gave me that. That's what I've been calling it. Ace. Assorted Crisis Events is absolutely brilliant. I loved the first issue. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. What do you think, Nick?
I loved it too, man. I really love this book. Does a really great job with the compositions too. Like every page is very unique. It looks nothing like any other book you're going to read that week. They use like even in the margins and things like that, like beyond the panels, they stretch it right to the edge, right? And so like just so visually, as you're reading this, they use all of that to help paint the story for you a little bit more. The tick-tock, the clock that she's carrying around, the family heirloom that she's, it's precious and it gets ruined throughout the story.
It's a Watchmen reference, right? Wouldn't you think?
Right.
Like, yeah.
It could be. Yeah. There's a lot of things in this book that could be references to a lot of things, and which I think is great that he's able to mix all those nostalgic things together. And so it generates that imagery for you. I was blown away by the compositions and just the artistry inside the book. And then just that layer of, like you were just kind of saying right there, it's just melancholiness, or that's not even the right word, right? It's just this, like, you're not paying attention to the right things all the time. And there's emergencies all over the place, but people are kind of trying to go about their everyday life. And I love the part where she wants to kind of partake in it, and she's kind of given up, and she sees the crater in the floor in the street. And she's like, fuck it, guys, I don't care. And she goes to dive into there, and she face plants because it's a prop. That scene right there.
Yeah, what did she say? Like, damn practical effects or something like that?
Right.
Yeah, and it's such a good page turn too, because then you get to it and just and
then she just sits there.
Whack.
I loved it, man. It was so cool. I love all the little cameos. I like all the exploration of the actual crisis events. The little character, we have little moments here where these characters pop in. The guy with the baby exploding out of his stomach. The everything that happens towards the end. The dude that's kind of frozen there in that sketchy blue look, and nobody knows how to interact with him.
Freaking out, right?
His wife's freaking out.
Is he like picking his nose or something?
He's picking his nose forever.
That's the worst place to get like stuck.
It's like that, or like a prostate.
How many times
exam.
did your parents say, "Don't make that face; you'll get stuck like that"?
So the whole package, like you were saying, it's a great creative team making a book they want to make, and they're pouring their heart and soul into it. And you know that, like, I think you were probably on the retailer call for this, right? And it was just talking like we have ideas through like 100 issues for this book, and so they're going to go on. It's going to be the same creative team, like that's the idea. And they have so many cool things they want to explore with this, having that same thread, like an ice cream man kind of an approach to this kind of thing. And I'm all for it, man. The package and the presentation blew me away. So it was a great story too. Great page turner. So yeah, great pick.
One of the things I wanted to say about what you were saying was it's like a tragic acceptance. This is the way the world is.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to put my head down and get through it. Right.
Yeah.
And just the core notion of that watch, of that, like, or that clock, right? Where like, I got to get this together because all I have of my parents who completely disappeared. They've been wiped from existence and shit, right?
Right. When she was younger, right? Yeah.
Such a crazy idea. And you don't see these kind of giant cosmological crisis events in comics done from this kind of mundane level, right?
It's a fresh approach.
I really, really love it for that. What about you, Stu? What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. I think you guys nailed it when you talk about just trying to live through and get through the day-to-day, like the surreal, absurd adventure that is life. Sometimes dealing with the current events these days. I love that scene where she's walking down the street and, I'm walking down the street and there's like a Third Reich parade going on, but I still got to go to work. And then she goes to work and they have no record of her even existing. And I think it's just so poignant in that sense of just, sometimes I feel like I see a headline or a current event or something going on, or a conversation even, and I pinch myself when I look around and I wonder if anybody else is experiencing or seeing the same things I am sometimes these days. So I feel like all those type of moments that she has where she's just kind of like putting her head down and getting through it, walking through all these guys' shots as they're trying to film these apocalyptic adventures, and just trying to get through her day was very so relatable and resonated a lot with me. So yeah, fantastic. And again, I had no what other work has this artist done? Do you guys know anything?
I'm not super familiar with this work. If you look at the image site, it says House of L, but I don't even know what the hell House of L was.
Yeah,
he did like a variant cover for the Bloodshot thing that Dennis Camp did, and he's done like variant covers for Time Before Time, but like this is like the first legit thing that I've seen, and that's like shocking because I love the artwork in here.
Yeah, it's crazy. It was great.
Yeah, some cover work. House of L, which was a like a DC graphic novel thing. Heart Attack. He did a cover of Heart Attack. Yeah, lots of cover. And I saw somebody mention Filya Bertukin doing the cover for issue number 1's second printing, who is the artist that worked with Dennis on Agent of World. This dude's like, Jeff Darrow.
Oh, that's gonna be crazy. Yeah.
Fucking like his art, and he did a Transformers cover not too long ago. It's like, I'm just like, what?
Just
like
shit
that's
everywhere.
freaking crazy. So hell yeah. What you were talking. Fuck, where was I? There was something I wanted to say, then I got distracted by Filya Bertukin. Eric, what'd you think about this book? I'm sure I'll think about it.
I would say it in a different way from what you guys said here. One of you said tragic acceptance. I would say like mundane spectacle, right? Because like y'all have said, like she's just going through the motions of everyday life as if this is to be expected. And that was kind of like the most refreshing thing about this book, is that it was that new perspective that we've never really gotten in a comic book. That was kind of an exciting thing, even though what was happening isn't really exciting, but kind of like the mystery of like, how does a person actually navigate this world and like come to the place where they are totally comfortable with everything crazy going on with them at one particular time. Like, it's kind of wild to see that play out here. The other thing too is, with the nature of this being an anthology book, and 3 out of 4 of us, I believe, have only been able to read issue number 1. I loved at least my own experience where I was trying to pinpoint things, because even though it's an anthology, it's all supposed to take place in the same world. So I'm like, oh, well, what about this Doomsayer guy over here? Like, the guy that's kind of perceived as crazy. Is he going to be popping up in different places?
He's the thread in every book. I'll tell you that for sure.
Exactly. Yeah. And the nature of time itself. Like, she keeps trying to get this clock fixed, right? And the first guy just kind of brushes it off. But the second guy, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he had some interesting things to say when she tried to get it fixed. And he was like aggressively pushing against it because X, Y, and Z didn't happen. I'm like, maybe this clock, either the clock or time has something. I love the mystery behind it, because if it's nothing, I'm not going to be disappointed. But if it's something, I love the mystery behind having to chase that stuff down issue after issue, man. That's going to be really exciting. We talk about Ice Cream Man, and in fact, W. Waxwell Prince talks about Ice Cream Man and the nature of horror in his book, right? And is this really horror? If this can deliver the same experience and feeling outside of the trappings of maybe horror, and like this is like the superhero or the crisis version of that, this could be really exciting. This could be a perennial like best of kind of comic book. Again, like what more can we say about Dennis Camp, man? Like, this is the year of camp, and I'm here for it. I'm excited.
Hell yeah. Writer of the year so far. We'll see what happens, but I think that's going to pretty much be established. I remember what I was going to say. The movie thing, that they're making a movie right outside of her house. It's apocalyptic. It's all this. Y'all think that that's saying something about like how we even like market the tragedy of our world and the crazy chaotic nature of our world, like the terrible things that are going on, whether it's a political thing or whether it's like like an actual like natural disaster, or whether it's like something like genocidal or like tyrants and dictatorships and shit like that. Like we make these fictions and it's easy to deal with. Like I think there's something there about that, about the film crew filming this movie about the apocalypse, literally during the apocalypse, right? That's crazy.
I think it would be very stressful for a film studio to try to create something that has shock and awe in a world like this. I don't know where to take that, but I think it would be interesting if your everyday life was walking around seeing impossible things pop into existence, explode, or do whatever they do, pop out of existence, and you still have to go use the bathroom, or you're still going to check your mail or going to work, and you have, citywide catastrophes happening all the time. And then you have a film studio trying to shoot some like mech robot bullshit right outside your window. Like, that's got to be an interesting thing there. So I wonder if that somehow sneaks into what you're trying to say there too, about this world in general and like why that's even happening.
Yeah. And we all know that if like time and space started collapsing, we would get that text from our company. We're all expected to be into work today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Great conversation. Dennis Camp. So far, we've talked about 3 of his books out this month. I think all 3. So that's pretty dope. I'm going to have to let him know that we gave him some love tonight.
Oh yeah.
He should know. He should know. Nick, what's your
he's in the chat.
He's Brimstone fan club, right?
He's Brimstone.
He's
blowing the shit up all night. Stu's best friend. Yeah.
Nick, what's your next pick, bro?
Let's see. Shit. There's so many good ones. This was a hell of a month, guys.
Yes, it was.
Man, where do I want to go from here? I'm gonna pick a book that's a little bit out left field a little bit. The Space Ghost, number 10.
Nice.
Holy shit. The Space Spectre issue. So it was a hell of an issue. So we're kind of wrapping up a lot of the things. It's kind of the way this has been formatting so far is kind of villain of the week. So if you watch like Coast to Coast or all the Space Ghost classic villains rather, we're kind of introducing them and dispatching them pretty quickly throughout the issue, but there's so many emotional beats inside here. And Jonathan Lau is doing an amazing job on the artwork itself. There are so many quiet moments in the book. There's kids. And usually when there's kids and a superhero, those kids play an annoying role. I don't think they're annoying at all in this one. The writing is so good. They're companions. They're actually helping Space Ghost mature as a person, mature as like a father figure in a way, being that thing that he couldn't be. Because Metalis, I think his name is, like took that away from him at an early age. And there's so many cool moments in this one. And this one here is kind of like wrapping up some of the old stuff that we were dealing with and then introducing a new thread going forward with like Space Spectre. Space Spectre is something that comes back through time. He's trying to prevent this major catastrophe that like wipes out everybody he loves. And there's a lot of like, who is this character kind of moments throughout the book. We assume it's another Space Ghost variant or something like that. We learn a little bit more about the origin of this character or who it really is at the end. Of course, there's tons of emotional beats in here, and it's just full of excitement, energy, great paneling, great colors, just amazing artwork, like I said, too. And it's a book that hits way harder than it should. Space Ghost is spectacular, and I cannot believe that I'm like a giant Space Ghost fan in comics right now. It's such a stupid concept, and all the context I have for it is all comedic. But I'm reading this book and I'm falling in love with it.
Have you found yourself trying to dive back into the original 60s Alex Toth design stuff?
I've watched some of the old, I've been watching a little bit of the old stuff, and I've been watching Coast to Coast more now than I ever have. So it's really funny.
My favorite issue of Coast to Coast is when Zorak eats Moby throughout the course of the episode.
Oh,
like I love that one.
There's one where he finds an ant on the ground. I think it's the Conan episode. And he finds an ant and he's talking about how he's going to murder the ant and he's going to follow him home and kill his whole family and stuff like that. The ant's crawling on the set down there. He's like, I'm going to follow you home. And there's a pause and kill your whole family. And Zorak and Moltar are just like, what are you talking about? It's
dude,
so good.
Space Ghost is way better than it deserves to be. Like, way better than one would think it would be. You're right about that. David Pepose is bringing so much in. Now, I got to meet him yet again in person at MegaCon. I've met him a couple times, and I love David. He's such a cool dude. He's a very warm, generous, and caring person. And he also revealed to me where he's going with this story, right? Because like sometimes these dudes, they just can't help it. And sometimes I want to be like, why are you spoiling your fucking book for me, man? But at the same time, like I crave that shit. Like I love that like kind of relationship with a creator.
Yeah. It's
and
nice. Yeah.
Where this book is going is really going to tug on some of those emotional chords. The growing up of Space Ghost, his relationship with these kids, crazy stuff. And what he said to me about Space Spectre, and we had him on the show recently. I think he said the same thing on air, but he was like, what Space Ghost what Space Spectre is to Space Ghost is what Dark Knight Returns is to comic book like 66 Batman.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like,
yeah, completely jaded, hardened, trying to prevent things.
And that reveal, and then throw in issue number 11, which also came out this month, right? They came out week to week, I think, because Dynamite's catching up because of all the Diamond shit that's going on. Luckily, Diamond's been bought, so that's cool, I guess. We can at least know that our comics are going to be coming, if not delayed, still on, like, will be arriving at some point.
Well, Image is putting up wrench in that plan right now. So
they are. Yes, they are. And honestly, congrats to you, Alliance Entertainment, but all the publishers have left. Like the biggest publishers at Diamond right now are Dynamite and Zenoscope. Yeah. That's crazy. Because even Titan's gone. Yeah. Because like ain't no way you're fucking with Jim Zub's Conan run, y'all. Okay? Ain't no fucking way.
We've had enough of that shit. Yeah.
But that issue too, like taking what's cool is like, Monster of the Week, Criminal of the Week, but that's very much what Space Ghost was in the original incarnation. And then to build it all up to the Council of Doom in issue number 11, fucking shit was dope, man. You got any thoughts on Space Ghost, Stu?
Yeah, I love it. I think it's been fantastic. I love Peppo's decision to put him with these two kids and kind of the burden that he's putting on each of them. Early on with Jace, thinking he took a life, and then now Jan with this knowledge that she hasn't shared yet, and how that's weighing on her. But I thought that was so Space Spectre is new to the mythology, I'm guessing.
No, he's from the original show.
Oh, he is?
But I don't think that I don't think that I don't know, because I'm not the biggest Space Ghost lore. Maybe I need to call David Papose or Joe Casey and get to know, right? But like, I don't know if the reveal of who Space Spectre was from the original show. I think that's new. I think that's.
I don't know. Okay. Maybe not. But yeah, it is not an original thing. It was an older thing. I think it was the same person, which I don't want to give away. Maybe
the one spoiler we're protecting tonight is who Space.
Well, because it's so cool, man. It's such a great.
What's
moment.
Crazy is I had to tell David, like, I never saw a Space Spectre episode. I never did, and that's when he was like, Space Spectre is like the Frank Miller version of Space Ghost.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
No, it was beautiful in that moment, like when he's kind of saying goodbye to Jan that was like heartbreaking. But and I love how you can kind of dive in on any issue and decide whether or not you want to catch up or not, but still kind of enjoy that issue. There is definitely a connecting thread that you want to kind of be in touch with, but these issues kind of also work as standalone. But I love now this the Council of Doom getting together and our boy being in trouble, and I love kind of like the vulnerability that they placed him in when these guys showed up, kind of telling the kids off, being real emotional. They caught him at a real bad time. So can't wait to see what happens next.
Have a good dinner, Eddie. I agree with everything you say there. Everything you say there. 100%. I agree. Like straight up. Eric, you got any thoughts on Space Ghost? You've been too busy fucking rereading Power Fantasy. Power Fantasy. Have you been too reading?
You've been spending too many times trying to figure out what you're trying to say there, Robbie?
Yep, too much.
Yeah.
This orange Powerade's getting to me, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I've played catch up on Space Ghost, man, and I'm so glad that I have here with the influence of Nick over here. This was a really, really strong 1-2 punch. Like, I know it wasn't intended for them to come out as quickly, in succession as they did, but it kind of worked, man, with the revelation of Space Spectre, the information that's provided there, even though it's not exactly the way that they wanted that to be played out, but then how that leads into the decision by the children to kind of leave, right? And to say, like, the promise that was made by Space Ghost is not coming to fruition. We're not getting what we need out of this relationship. In fact, we're getting the opposite. And then the Council of Doom to show up here, like every heavy, like against Space Ghost at one time. And for that relationship to be pulled apart, but then strengthened so quickly, it was like wet cement becoming solid, basically, for their relationship. So like, I loved the way that they played with that and how they kind of finalized this issue. Like, he does a really good job, and we've talked about this for a couple different comics, writing for the single issue, but then having this overarching story that's being played out here. Because the way that this also ended, even though we're working with some of those things that could be perceived as cheesy because they're kind of dealing with a property that was, made in the 60s. I still love the end of issue number 11, how it all ties into Space Corp and what they've taken now and how that's going to have ramifications in future issues.
Yep.
Dude, it's like, again, like, I think I have the same opinion of all of you. I'm surprised at how much fun I'm having with this, but like, don't take it away from me at this point because I love it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm invested, right? I want to see, I'm really invested and I want to see what happens to these guys.
What's crazy is like, so it's superhero with 2 fucking sidekicks. Like, what's more annoying than 1 teenage sidekick? 2? And then these 2 kids have their own sidekick. It's a fucking monkey, right?
Yeah.
But then Blip has become crucial to the plot.
Oh yeah,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
And I'm just like hanging on by a thread. Like, don't fuck. The only thing about this book is it needs better coloring. There's too much brownie, orangey type shit. Like as Jim Rugg would say, there's a little too much of that, man. Is what I'm saying. But aside from that, like I'm really loving the artwork. I'm loving the story. I think Space Ghost is phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. It might be the best Dynamite book I've ever read, man. It might be.
Really good.
I don't know. I have to think about that. But Dynamite's really doing some good shit right now, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Like they really legitimately are. And I'm not just saying that because they pay me to do a show with them. I'm not a shill for them. They don't pay me for my opinions.
No, they ain't paying the 3 of us shit. The Space Ghost is amazing. So check it out.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Great pick. Nick, what about you, Stu? You're somebody else I know with 2 kid sidekicks and a monkey. So why don't you tell us what your next pick is?
You've been holding out on a monkey? We're co-hosts, dude. You didn't tell me about this?
Don't worry about it. That's privileged information.
It's not legal yet. The adoption papers haven't gone through.
Where do you keep the monkey?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. All right, I'm going Absolute Wonder Woman number 6. Kelly Thompson, Mattia D. Iulis?
That's Iulis.
Sure.
Iulis?
Yeah,
that's how I say
on the fill-in art. We know this team from The Cull, which was okay. The art was outstanding. There you go, Nick. Hell yeah. Getting frissened up there. Don't get frissened.
I got a quadruple dose of
there are
frisson.
A lot of frisson covers this.
Hell yeah,
month,
there is.
right?
I know, man.
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yeah, but dude, for the absolutely stunning and kind of like industry leading artwork that Hayden Sherman has been doing on this book, the fill-in artwork by Mattia on this issue was absolutely
Do you love that
stunning.
Mattia's a fill-in artist, by the way? Like, isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Wild.
Absolutely. And I haven't
Good
looked
job,
on the
DC.
solicits for next issue, but are they doing the second half of the story? Because it's a part 1 of 2. So that would be super dope. Hell yeah. But yeah, incredible about, the story about Nemesis, and it reminded me, like, elements of it. I love the grandiosity of it, the big sweeping epic like nature of their art style. It fits so well here for this story about Prometheus chained to the mountain and Diana visiting him. And I just love the interaction between Prometheus and Diana. They're back and forth, how she shows him kindness, when obviously he's, famous for being treated cruelly by the gods, and how that kindness gets rewarded by a bit of his blood and flesh to form Nemesis. And it's just beautifully done, man. It reminded me of like Secret Wars number 7, when the epic fight between Ben Grimm and Franklin was going down. But I thought this one was spectacular and stunning in every way, shape, and form. I think this, like, not only like the new mythology that we're creating, but the ways, like, in that newness, the way that it's so familiar with Diana, like that conversation, that back and forth with Prometheus felt like one of the most honest, truest moments of the book so far. And I just love that pitiful look on her face as she's, feeling so sorry for Prometheus and the situation he found himself in. So this one really wowed me. I did know that we were getting guest art from Mattia on this, so this was a pleasant surprise, and it was stunning in every way, shape, and form. It was just a brilliant kind of like, I know it's a 2-parter, but I love this little veer off course we're going with the story after our big battle of the last 2 issues. But these little tales we get down in the underworld have been some of the best parts of the book. And man, the ending, seeing that I don't want to ruin it, but the situation is dire, and this book is all about sacrifice, so I'm concerned moving forward. But to me, the crowning moment of this was the birth of Pegasus coming up out of the lava. Just such a beautiful moment to see how not only she got this kick-ass lasso that she has, but also her trusty steed. So another banger of an issue from Kelly Thompson, and the best absolute book out. Oh, and the Basilisk, dude. How great was that fight and that sequence? I mean, so many amazing moments. So yeah, Absolute Wonder Woman number 6 is my pick.
I love the way that she kind of apologizes and prays for the Basilisk as she's about to fucking kill it. I love that bit. She made herself blind and all that. It's so good. I remember a time and day and an age when fill-in stories were just inventory stories that they had filed away, that if the schedule, they needed somebody to they needed a break, they could just throw in this inventory story. And it just, I mean, how many of you remember comics from back in the 80s and 90s where you'd be reading it and then all of a sudden the next issue happens and it's not related to anything, right? Oh, yeah. That's not what this is, because not only is Kelly Thompson, who is doing a phenomenal job writing the story structurally, she's not just using this as an opportunity to tell us and fill in gaps from the past, like the origin of Pegasus, the origin of Nemesis, how Wonder Woman gets these implements and the steed, right? But still telling a story that is current and modern and very important to Diana, especially with the reveal at the end, right? And also the interpretation of Hades, not just visually, which is stunning, awesome. Right? Yeah. My favorite Hades in comics is Cliff Chang in Wonder Woman New 52, the little kid with the crown of candles that's melting on his head. I love that. They're kind of keeping that same kind of symbolism alive with Hades, because it goes back into the symbolism of mythology, Greek mythology. But Hades and the way he talks, the way he speaks, and everything about it was just so fucking perfect, man. I love it so much. We haven't even seen Ares yet, y'all. So this book is amazing. I thought issue number 5 wrapped up the first story arc pretty well, but she did get a little Captain America-y at the end there, giving her a big speech about peace and justice and all that shit.
I love that though.
We dive right back into it, man. And the only thing is, maybe there's I think I said this in my review. If you don't like Hayden's artwork, this is the issue of Absolute Wonder Woman that's going to make you fall in love with this fucking book.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm glad I love Matea's artwork. I'm glad though that they are not the regular artists, because what Hayden does is astonishing to me. But such a great pick, such a great book. It was on my list. It would have been my next pick if I was forced to do another one. What about you, Eric? What do you think about Absolute Wonder Woman, as I like to call it, ABWW?
Dude, I'm struggling to find the word, because we say jarring, right? And jarring has a negative connotation, right? But it's, Robbie, it's a little bit like what you were saying, man. If you weren't a fan of Sherman's artwork, first of all, how dare you? What are you thinking? Consider your taste. But let's say that that's the reality. This is the issue. And it is, what would that word be? It is such a jarring change, but it's the greatest version of jarring, man. Their artwork fits the needs of the issue so well and delivers a different experience while keeping it consistent. And that really is kind of one of the hallmarks of Kelly Thompson on this run as well, is her approach on every single issue. This should have been boring. It really should have been. At the end of the day, this is a checklist issue. This is How I Met Your Mother. This is how I made my lassos. But it was exciting, and it's kind of the way that she's writing it and the heart that she's injecting into everything, but the relationships that Diana has built. Diana's approach with every single thing she does, including the tasks that she has to take on to get these lassos and to make these lassos. It's what makes this book sing. It's what makes it shine, and it's what makes it heart-wrenching too, seeing what happens at the end of this issue, because it was a real oh shit moment that really. Man. It wouldn't have been previously, but because of what she's done in those first 5 issues, oh man, it really, really made it hit really hard. So, dude, great pick, man. I love this issue.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Nick, what do you think about as I like to call it, because it's absolute Wonder Woman.
Oh, I thought it sucked. It was no. I love it.
It was like Power Fantasy issue #1, dude.
What are we reading?
No,
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, that was so good. It made Nick read 4 times.
She's creeping on some dude chained up to a wall, and he's a big guy. That's kind of weird. No, dude, yeah, you guys really
Kink shaming.
I love. They don't usually portray Prometheus as an actual Titan, and that's
right.
Cool.
That was
Yeah,
super
yeah.
cool to see. Absolutely.
Matea has a great sense of scale in their work.
Yes.
Right?
Dude, I was about to share this panel right here. This panel
man. Like get
is incredible with her. Okay, what's striking about the art too in this is it's kind of painterly, right? It's got that painter thing. The lighting effects, like we're in a world where there's lightning strikes constantly, and they do such a great job of highlighting those areas where that lightning strike will reflect off of. There's so many of those moments in here. So the coloring is great in this, even though we have this like blue tone kind of over everything just because of where we are. But the lava that pours out of this, the crown on, Hades and everything. There's so many great lighting parts in this one. So like the basilisk with like the greens and everything like that.
Yeah.
So good. I love the continuation of like this weaving in of the dark magic with this character too. It is so like when she's asking about the sacrifice from Prometheus that is required to make this weapon, and he understands the assignment, and he's like, take whatever you need, take this, and she does it, and she performs her thing, and she creates the stuff, and it's like, it's great. And that's been a common theme throughout this entire run so far, is like that dark magic element, and it requires sacrifice, and this is just another example of that. And I'm really excited to see where it goes with that cliffhanger at the end. Like you have the one thing that I really, really love in this world held hostage right now, and it's not going to be good for him. It's not going to be good for Hades right now, and I don't want to be in his shoes, and I'm excited for it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I love when he's like, when she's like walking up to him, he's like, you think I don't know a magic pouch when I see one? He's like, that thing stinks to high heaven, girl. What you got in there?
He's just like, it's like, Jesus Christ. It's like,
so
exactly.
good.
Hell yeah, great pick. Last year we all made fun of the Marvel shill and all that shit, but I think this year we might all wind up being DC shills.
We're all DC shills.
Man. They're on a pretty solid path right now.
Yeah.
You see an image, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Eric, what about you? What's your next pick for round 2?
I'm going to go a little left of center as well here, and I'm hoping I'm not the only person that's actually read it yet.
Oh.
I want to talk about Savage Street Vigilante here by Jim friggin' Mahfood.
I haven't read it.
It's in a box. It's in a bag right there. I haven't opened it yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We talked about Wonder Woman. Let's talk about Batman, maybe, kind of. Wild, wacky, zany
Nice.
issue here that is purely in the vein of Jim Mahfood. If you know Jim Mahfood's artwork and you know his writing approach here, you know you're in for a absolutely mind trip of a time with this issue. It's basically Batman by way of a Hunter S. Thompson novel. I can't think of a better way to put this, man. Every single page turn is a new trip that you're taking here. Yeah, like, in fact, Hunter S. Thompson makes an appearance in this book here, and maybe not by name, but definitely by appearance here. But man, I'm just loving the bootleg nature and approach of all of these superhero characters, because we know and love all of them, right? But sometimes the big two doesn't get to do the things that maybe we would want to see with these characters. They can't make big, bold steps on the books that they have here, because, they got to appease stockholders and, 12-year-olds who buy books too. The same for 12-year-olds here. Pick this up if you can get your hands on it here. I think it was only in the Kickstarter here. I know he's selling it at cons right now, but you should be able to get your hands on it sometime in the future here through his website. I know there's a backstock of books here, but again, it's a wild, zany approach on the Batman mythos here. And I mean, just to give a small sample of the artwork that you'd get here, it's crazy. It is absolutely something outside of the scope of the big two, and I freaking loved it. I'm a stan for Jim Mahfood's artwork and his approach on comic books, so I dug it. Robbie dipped out here because he clearly didn't. So Nick, did you? I know you have it. Did you say
I have
you
it?
read
It's in a bag
though?
right there. You can get it on the website right now. I linked it in the chat too, and it looks like you can order. It says add to cart, so and there's variants and things like that for this one shot.
Awesome. I've been looking for variants too, and I didn't see it, so that's a good call for myself.
yeah. I saw rugs because Stu, you got rugs, right? I think
Yes,
you got,
sir.
Yeah, so that's on there. It's sitting in a stack of unopened mail right there for my members only unboxing video that I'm going to be doing very soon. So I got a stack of cool shit that I'm going to be doing, and I can't wait to get inside of that one. I know when you guys got it, you were like sharing screens, like, "Oh my god, it's so good!" And Stu was like, "Oh, it's right." So I'm like, "Damn it, I haven't gotten mine yet."
Dude, Brian came up into the shop today and he was like, "Yo, I got my Savage Street Vigilante. Did you get yours yet?" And I was like, "Oh fuck, I never kickstarted that." I was like, I think that was around October or something when they were kickstarting that, right? And
yes,
my buddy Robbie from Earth 2, y'all will meet him at Heroes Con. But he ran into Jim Mahfood at Dragon Con, and he mentioned me, and Jim Mahfood's like, "Oh, that dude that reads like 40 fucking comics a week, that dude's crazy. Tell him to get in touch. I would love to get on his show and talk about, the new book." And I just never set it up. I was busy, Horror Fest, life, all this kind of shit. And I missed my chance. And are you telling me, Nick, that there's a plan, like I can go to his website and still buy it?
I'm there right now, and it says add to cart. So
fuck yeah. All right. I need to get out because y'all know I'm a big Jim Mahfood fan. Like 100%. 100%. One of the last things he did before this, where he was selling it and doing it on his own. He didn't even kickstart it, right? But it was like, I don't even remember what it's called, but it's like this giant oversized, like got it right. Random thing. Yeah. Yeah. I have one of those with a little bit of a remark, and I've met Mahfood a couple of times. Super
Volume
cool dude.
2 just came out.
I hope he gets announced for Heroes Con because I would love to
I
see
don't
him
think he's going this year.
I don't think so either. Yeah, I
he
think
mentioned that
he's stepping out.
He mentioned that on Ink Pulp. He was just like, it's not worth it going 2 years in a row because you want that anticipation to build if you're missing that 1 year, you know what I mean? So every other year, every 2 years.
Well, somebody tell Chris Claremont that shit, man. How about that?
Well, he just cancels. He just cancels 2 days before.
I was gonna say, who are we gonna have breakfast with if he doesn't show up? Then?
Chris better show up. We need a buddy.
He
for
better
breakfast
show up,
at Heroes. Yeah.
I don't know where y'all are at. Is Stu talk yet about this book?
No. Yeah, I read it. It's fantastic. Yeah. It's like Batman, just X-rated and on mushrooms, serving up justice on a cosmic scale. Crazy, the crazy, insane line work that you come to know and love from Jim Mahfood. Quality product, man. Beautiful packaging. I love the cover. Yeah, man, this one delivered on all fronts. That sometimes Kickstarters don't always necessarily go the way you want them to. When whether it be order fulfillments or the actual product itself, but this one was stellar, dude. Books came in a timely manner, and it's just
that's a quick turnaround, bro.
Great book, yeah. It's just.
I think there's still Kickstarter books I'm waiting for that I've forgotten about.
Oh yeah.
I know.
Looking at you traveling to Mars.
Yep. No, we just got an update again that fulfillment's happening for sure.
At this point, they just make
for
me
Dracula,
angry.
whatever. Or whatever.
Yeah.
For the other book they're trying to shove down your fucking throat.
Yeah. I would go one step further too, man. We talked about Rokos and Sacrificers. Batman, or Batman in this book, maybe does a little bit more damage to a planet than Rokos. So if that doesn't, whet your appetite, the vengeance is real in this book. So
holy crap,
nobody's safe. Nobody is safe.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I got a book from him at Heroes Con a couple years ago. Jim Rugg has work in it. He has work in it, and a few other artists, and it's called One Shitty Dark Knight. And it's their interpretation of Dark Knight, right? Like, it's so much fun. It's so stupid. It's so ridiculous. And I got Jim to like sign it. He drew a little Batman in there, and like it was super cool. I'm excited. Now, I did just recently today get our newest order from Monty Keene, and I got his Wolverine story, the Martin Man or whatever. And I got
yes. Oh,
yeah, there you go. And what's the bigger one that got put out? That's I can't remember what the name is, but it's like the baddest bitch in the universe or something.
Yeah, Yurasuka.
Baddest bitch on
oh my god,
that
is ridiculous,
I don't
man.
want to talk about it.
It's so bad.
And you got Jim Mahfood doing a pinup in the back, and Jim Rugg. So that's super fucking cool.
Fuck Jim Rugg.
Hell yeah.
Oh, please. You can't be mad with the deals.
I was going to buy the cover, Robbie. I was going to buy the cover for that book, and he went to what was it, IC3 or whatever it was.
IC3,
yeah, the ending,
just recently, and Marty traded the cover for that book for Rug's pinup in the back of that book, a flat trade. And then Jim goes on his Patreon. He's like, look what I just traded with Marty. And I've been eyeing that thing for a month going, I'll buy it now and pick it up at Heroes. It'll be great.
Oh man. Heroes is going to be awesome this year because Stu, you going, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I finally get to meet you in person, man.
I know, bro. Can't wait.
Oh yeah. Then we can finally compare dick sizes at the hotel room later on.
Okay. Whoa. I don't know about all that, but I mean, we can have a sushi and beer together.
Yeah.
Are
Did y'all
you
go to that
bringing the
sushi
monkey?
place? Did
Yeah,
y'all go to that
down the
sushi
block
place?
around the corner a little bit. Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
red
that's where
something?
we had our first meal.
Our first night was there. Yeah.
Their peach white sake, 2 bottles. That's how I always kick off
Oh, we'll try
Heroes
it. Yeah.
Con. It's so good. Yeah.
Just don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings. Holy shit.
We go there
Yeah,
every
that
year
was
too,
rough.
and it's bullshit. Yeah,
Oh,
y'all
it
had a
was
problem
awful.
too.
Oh,
They're
God, it's
never
awful.
prepared,
Yeah.
dude. Neither is the bar at the Westin. They're always surprised. We didn't know so many people would be here.
They were good last year.
It's literally.
Yeah, they were.
I'm glad they finally figured it out because every year I go, they're just like, we got one bartender, guys. I'm so sorry. And I'm in line with Trad Moore for like 20 minutes, but that wasn't a problem, to be honest.
I was going to say, that's not a bad.
Oh, darn. Yeah. No, Shooter kept them busy
right?
all night. So, yeah.
I bet he did.
Yeah.
All right. We've gone through 2 rounds of picks, haven't we? Yes,
Yeah.
we have.
Yep.
Now it's time for what we like to call Rockin Robbie's Rapid Fire. So, Nick, why don't you kick us off tonight?
Holy shit. There are so many good books left. I can't believe it. All right. I got to leave some. Oh, my God. How do you even start? Okay. Red Coat issue number 10. Awesome issue. Love this one.
Great
the Annie
issue.
Oakley.
That's Annie Oakley, yeah.
Yeah.
Her the dynamic between those two characters is something I wish we would explore a little bit more. And I love the heartbreak that she gives him at the end of the issue where he's like,
I'm married.
Miss Oakley. She goes, Mrs. Oakley. He's like, oh, damn it. Awesome issue. Again, it's very much like episodic, like whatever of the month. This is a really, really good one. And we're going to get more and more introduced to another character who's going to be joining the universe.
The Northerner.
And we're going to learn about that origin story. And we're going to be moving more towards Geiger and everything. It's going to be really, really cool to see that play out. Absolute Superman issue number, what is this, 5, I think? This was a great one, too. Yeah. I joked in the back chat. I love how the absolute version of Superman is essentially Kara's origin story, where he's like a little bit older. She gets to witness the world exploding. She's a sole survivor kind of thing. You know what I mean? And he gets to witness the whole collapse of Krypton. Really, really great issue. Lots of action, amazing coloring and everything.
That book gets better and better for me.
It does. That's the book that I didn't like at first. And I'm like, this is actually really, really good. Yeah. Let's see. Let's keep the Ghost Machine stuff going. Hyde Street, number 4.
Yes.
Damn. This like Frankenstein kind of a character's origin story here is like this actor who's threatened by other actors and he might be a little crazy. And one accident on the job causes him to go on the Hyde Street. And he's kind of like rebelling against that destiny that he now has, right? Love this issue. Interiors were so solid in this too. What is it? Ivan Reyes, right? Such a great artist. Really digging that one.
And if you're a Universal Monsters fan, that's an issue to pick up for sure.
Yeah, it's the Frankenstein analog, and it's brilliant. I'm gonna go Batman Dark Patterns, issue number 4. I just love the absurd concept of Scarface in this issue and what it merges into or
takes over a whole fucking apartment building, dude.
Building. And Batman's so disoriented in this building because like he's hearing voices and everyone around him knows what's going on but him. And he's like, what's happening? And everybody else is really in on it. And the end, when you get to see that face appear, oh my God, it was just such a fun ride.
Do you love the bit too where he has to talk to the fucking untrustworthy doctor and he's like, is he fucking sober?
Yeah.
Him and that doctor, dude, it's so funny. I love it.
I cannot believe
he still got that drool hanging from his lip too.
I know. And they all thought they were pushing debris and shit down on him, but they were positioning certain pieces of furniture out the balconies to make the face at the end. Oh my God, it was so cool. There are so many fucking good books. Okay, I'll just do one more. Savage Sword of freaking Conan, issue number 7. Are you fucking kidding? This is incredible. props to my shop. We have so many Diamond issues right now. We just can't get Titan books right now for some reason. They actually went out of their way and bought it from like Midtown or whatever, and they got it shipped in because there's like me and a couple other guys that are buying these books. And this one was so solid. I'm loving this one. We had Roy back on this shit.
Yeah, the creator of everything.
Creator of everything. Telling this really, really amazing story of some if there's like some bestiality like moments inside of this thing. I love all the new characters and everything. I presume they're new characters. Who knows? I'm newer to Conan, but whatever. But keeping that long story format going in here, it's absurd, it's violent, it's gory. We got some new friends. We have some new love interests and things like that. And they just did a great job. Just kind of like continuing to revitalize this character in this franchise. And I'm just loving De La Torre's artwork in here too.
So we got that book
It's
like
incredible.
we got that book like a week late. And
Yeah, I think yeah.
we got it like a week late. That's just how it's been with Diamond for lately. And
Yeah.
what's crazy is when I met Jim Zub in person for the first time at MegaCon, he was like talking about how excited. He goes, "Oh, Robbie, you're gonna love it. We got Roy Thomas coming back, and he's doing a story with Rob. It's great, right?" And I also know what Rob and Jim are doing next, and it's gonna be fucking awesome too. But like, I remember Faux Robbie, our buddy Davey, who a lot of people know as Faux Robbie. He picked it up and looked through it because I keep telling him how great the art is. He looks through and he goes, "Why is every woman like not wearing clothes in this?" I was like, "Give me that right now." I was like, "That's the secret to a Conan book. Nobody wears clothes, man."
Yeah, that's just part of it.
Nobody.
That's part of it.
Great book. Great issue, man.
There's about 15 other amazing books, but I'm going to save some, guys.
All right.
That's it.
Thank you for the graciousness, Nick. What about you, Stu? What's your rapid fire?
All right. I will start off with Tin Can Society #6, Killer Double Twist in that one. Yeah, I'm gonna take them all, Lee. Sorry.
Yeah, I know it.
Killer Double Twist in this one. Not only like how this child came to be, but this, a character we had thought long since dead. Turns out maybe that wasn't the case. This book is constantly upending my expectations in so many ways, with story, with art. It's been fantastic. It's like Iron Man meets the Goonies, I think we called it at one point, but yeah, I can't recommend it enough. It's fantastic. Monkey Meat, the Summer Batch #1 by Junie Ba was a fantastic and fun little book. I especially loved the last story about Monk Eagle and Monk Girl, and kind of like the indictment of comic books and the world at large that it was. It was a fantastic little tale. I always love seeing Junie do his thing, man. He's one of my favorite writer artists out there. And like my boy E said, it was great seeing him do this on the heels of a Robin book. Some of the things he was talking about, I think, were that much more poignant and definitely impactful because of that. So definitely want to recommend that one. And then I won't take all the goodies. I will finish it off with Out of Alcatraz #1. Chris Cantwell, Tyler Crook. I love this one, man. I was looking forward to it. We were talking about it last night on the show. E and I were talking about like the Oswald book, and I just love Cantwell in this time period. I think he's got a real knack for it. This was so dope, kind of reimagining what happened with those three guys, if they were to really get off the island and tracing their fate. It felt really human, really real. I like the slow burn. The art style is super dope, for that time period. And I just love the way they captured these characters. It's not all cliches and heavy handedness. I thought it was really, really well written and structured. And I'm already, I love the differences in each of these guys, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out between them. So I think, Oswald's Body was one of those books that COVID unfortunately claimed, so it's good to see Cantwell get kind of like another swing at it as it were with Out of Alcatraz #1. So that's going to be my final rapid fire.
Oni's still around, and they're still slowly kicking at it. Rick and Morty's kind of keeping them alive a little bit, but they got some real good books like planned out for this year. And out of Alcatraz, if anybody else took Assorted Crisis Events, that would have been my next pick. Like, I was blown away by that book. Tyler Crook's artwork is amazing, and when he's not working with Cullen Bunn, it's even better. it's even better, right? So like no offense to Cullen Bunn, but somebody's got to stick up for Manny when he's not here. What about you, E? Rapid fire.
Dude, there's a lot of good books still left here. I'm gonna start with one that's a little bit undersung. I feel like nobody's talking about it too much. Two-Face, by Christian Ward and Fabio Veras. I really like what they're doing on this. The series is almost wrapped up at this point, but it's like I've described it as the Fight Club of the DC universe, with Harvey and Two-Face struggling for control over this body. The last issue, the color palette that they choose is absolutely awesome. Christian Ward isn't on the artwork, but his artistic style is kind of shining through with the colors. And I love the fact that it takes place within the courtroom of Harvey's mind, right? And we get to see the backstory of how the persona of Two-Face really came to be. Another DC book, Zatanna. Dude, Zatanna, we talked about this last night again on Ink and Insights.
Hell yeah.
Surprising the heck out of me, because I did not think that it could live up to the standard that the recent miniseries actually did. And within 2 issues, it kind of is. The artwork is awesome. I expected that. The story is arguably even better, and that's what took me by surprise. I didn't know that Jamal Campbell maybe had the writing chops that are being presented in this book. Super surprising. Love the mystery aspect of it, but the visuals, especially with the magical aspects of it, awesome to look at. Spectrum number 4 by Rick Quinn and Dave Chisholm. This is a mind trip of a book. It really plays on the notion of art, music, its influence on people, but it gets real timey-wimey with this, as we kind of see that people listening to music can maybe be the portal to connect between time and space for those individuals. And it sends our heroes kind of on a journey through time, through music, and the appreciation and the creation of all those things. Let's see here. A couple more I feel like that get undersung here. Green Arrow. Chris Condon, there was a handful of books that came out from Chris Condon here. I'll spotlight Green Arrow. Gritty, crime-driven book here in the same vein of Brian Michael Bendis and Alex Maleev on Daredevil back in the day. That's what you're getting with Green Arrow right now, and it is awesome. I'm loving this from a big 2 kind of publisher. And I will leave it off with Santos Sisters number 8, because I'm a terrible shill, and the PCP Bad Batch gets a little love in there. So it's a great issue, but also, like, come on, like, we're in there. First appearance, get it slabbed, get a 9.8, get 98 9.8s for your collection, because you need it, you earned it. Oh yeah,
it's only going up, guys. Only going up.
Yeah, get the signed copy, by the way, by Greg and Fake, because it's worth it. So there would be my rapid fire.
I grabbed a copy as well, and of course I got this glorious hardcover Fantagraphics did. I cannot wait to dive into this, because I have not read this book yet, but I'm excited to. It looks so much fun. And like, I have a buddy, my buddy Blake reads this book, and he's been telling me to get on this book for a while. And I'm so glad that they worked with Fantagraphics to do the book, because nobody does collections better than Fantagraphics. They're like
gorgeous.
Whenever we do those like best publisher of the years lists and shit like that, I always mention Fantagraphics, and people look at me funny, but y'all know what the fuck I'm talking about, man.
Oh yeah.
Like they collect and archive, so nobody's better than them, except for maybe like who's doing those Marvel Silver Age reprints that are like photographed from actual vintage copies. Oh shit. Why am I forgetting?
I don't know.
They do the big slipcase hardcovers and shit. Tom and Ed and Jim used to always talk about them. Fuck. Somebody in the chat's going to let me know. So, all right, my rapid fire. There's this. Let me echo what everybody's been saying. What a crazy fucking month for comics.
Great month. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Mothra, Queen of the Monsters, issue number 1. Blew me away. I was like, oh, there's a new Mothra book. I guess I'll read issue number 1. I was legitimately surprised at how much I enjoyed that book, how much I enjoyed that artwork, how much I cared about the human story. So Mothra. So there you go, contemporary. Transformers number 18. The end of the 3rd story arc. It's big. It's explosive. It's awesome. Daniel Warren Johnson's out by issue 25. That's sad to hear. I'm anticipating the news of who's going to take over, and I hope it's not Robert Kirkman, because I'd rather him stay in his Void Rivals world. But Daniel Warren Johnson's been slaying. And then the ending, y'all.
Yeah.
We've been waiting 18
Mhm.
issues. Megatron
Mhm.
comes back and everybody shits themselves. Now, I know we've banned the farting guy, but like he would really have a field day with this because we all just shit ourselves when that happened. And everybody in the book did too. All right. How about Absolute Batman #6? Holy shit.
Yeah.
I thought this book has been dumb the entire time. I'm having fun with it, but it's been dumb. But I really, for some reason, loved the reveal of like Bruce and his mother's relationship, a little bit more of that. Like that kind of hit me like
It's
pretty
nice.
well. And I thought I was like, damn, this
Yeah.
might be the deepest Scott's ever gotten with the character of Bruce Wayne and his relationship to the tragedy that happened to him, his father and his mother. Of course, his mother's still alive in this world, but there's something going on there. I love the bit where he stabs Black Mask right in the fucking eyes. That was
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, but they backtracked on it, which really pissed me off. I was
Yeah,
like,
but
"Oh, that's
then you
awesome."
get the ending
Yeah.
with the Joker. And I'm like, I cannot wait to see what absolute fucking Joker is, like what his deal is. And he's like, call Bane. Then you got Graham Nolan's asshat fucking dude, like the guy who helped co-create Bane with Chuck Dixon, come out and be like, oh, I don't approve of this. This is terrible because look how small the head. Bitch, do you not understand style?
Yeah.
Like, get the
I'm
fuck
about to
out
say,
of here.
like, I remember Kelly Jones gave that motherfucker 1,800 muscles, like in his like.
Did
on
you
his arm.
complain
Like,
about
come
the
on,
cover of your fucking your work? You know what I'm
Seriously,
saying? Like,
come
get the
on,
fuck
man.
out of here. Fucking
Wanted to
asshat.
be
Batman and
anatomically
Robin year
correct.
1, #6. Enough said. I mean, Chris Samney, Mark
So good.
Waid, they're killing it. Robin's great. Speaking of that, how about Hell Hunters? I haven't really mentioned it here. Hell Hunters, like 3 and 4, I think, came out this week or this month.
I love that book so much.
Dude, and what a fucking awesome interpretation of Bucky.
Oh,
He's
I
like
love
running
it.
around trying to collect Nazi
Hunting.
ears and
Oh,
shit.
God.
Dude, like it's so much fun, dude.
I love that's one of my favorites right now.
That's
yeah.
another Marvel book.
So good.
New Gods #4.
Yeah.
Yes.
Giant, epic, huge. And like I didn't think they were going to get to Orion catching up with Mr. Miracle so quickly. But they fucking did, and it works. And it works so well. Rom V's killing it on that. Be paying attention next week because Rom's doing his Resurrection Man story.
Yes.
So pay attention to that one, y'all. G.I. Joe, issue #5, the penultimate issue of the first arc. It ends in the perfect way. Duke and Cobra Commander. And I don't even remember who. I think it's Duke that looks at Cobra Commander and goes, who the fuck are you? Basically, right?
Yeah.
And it's so much fun, so dynamic, so energetic. It's exactly what a G.I. Joe comic book should be. The Deviant #9. The best ending, in my opinion, that James Tynan's ever written. That was perfect.
I caught up on that one. I really liked it.
Yeah, they were able to end it too, right? In such an impactful way and still give us that that resolution, that moment to breathe at the end. I fucking thought it was awesome. We do not need another volume, James.
That was fine. Just leave it
End
alone.
it there. Yeah. Who are the Power Pals? Issue #1 really took me by surprise. I had a lot of fun with that book. I really did. A Dark Horse comic. It's about these two dudes who were a part of a superhero sitcom back in the 90s that got super hyped, but then nobody liked it and it was canceled in the middle of its season. So they think they're still stars, but they're not. And then they decide to make themselves stars again by becoming actual vigilantes. It was pretty good. I had a lot of fun with that one. Superman 24. Josh Williamson's been killing it on Superman already, but this one, I did not see this ending coming. Lex Luthor has had his memories wiped. He's kind of being a good guy. In the recent Lex Luthor special, he starts remembering his past. So you think if there's going to be a big shift in the story, it's going to be Luthor becoming a villain again, but it wasn't Luthor. And it was really shocking and surprising to me, even though it should have been obvious. And you learn more about what Supercorp is. And I don't want to spoil it because y'all need to be reading Superman by Josh Williamson and Dora, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Like, great interiors.
Yeah.
Come on. Feral issue #11. My name's not even on this issue, but I'm telling you something. I said this in my weekly review. Tony Fleece, Tone Rodriguez, and Trish Forstner, they have brought back my love of zombie fiction. I'm reading Feral and feeling the same way I did the first times I watched Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, 28 Days Later. That sad, tragic quality Yeah, maybe it's just because they're cats. And if you show me a cat in danger, it's going to emotionally manipulate me. And maybe Tony and Trish and Tone, the triple T's, know that, but I don't give a shit because it's making me care about a zombie book again. So that's really cool. Universal Monsters, The Mummy, issue number 1. Had a lot of fun with that book. I'm a huge fan of The Mummy. And this is telling Helen's story. And I don't think we got enough of Helen's story in The Mummy. We even know that there were bits that were cut out about other lives. And I want to see that explored. I really, really liked The Mummy. Doll Parts, issue number 4. A great wrap up to the prequel setting up Lovesick. Unnerving, unsettling, sexy, yet bold at the same time. Doll Parts, Lovesick was sexy and unsettling. Doll Parts, because our main character, Domino, we're seeing her origin story. She's mostly, throughout most of the series, like 12 years old. In the final issue, she's 18. We get a little bit more sexiness to it. But because of what we've been built up with the last 3 issues, I'm like, oh man, this isn't sexy at all. This is sad, right? But at the same time, what's beautiful about it is what the creator's name is Luana Vicio, right?
Okay, I think so, yeah.
Sure.
There's another Vicio out there I get her confused with all
Right.
the time, and that's a dude. Yeah, Luana's work, Vicio's work here, like she is making it's so many people could look at it and be like, oh, how tragic and sad that this happens to this young girl, leads her into this world, leads her into what we see happen and unfold in the book Lovesick. But it's kind of empowering's the wrong word, but she has agency. She has power. Right?
Yeah, she takes control of what she can.
Takes control. She chooses to be the victim, if that makes sense. So that was cool. We talked about Rick Remender. Got to talk about the seasons issue number 3. Like, I am loving the fuck out of the seasons. In issue number 1, we get introduced to spring and the concept of this evil carnival. Issue number 2, we get introduced to the other sisters, their relationship dynamics, and we learn more about the mystery of the parents. What do we do in issue 3? We put the spotlight right back on Spring. And now we're understanding how she feels about everything around her. And I absolutely love the book. I thought it was super solid. And that is my rapid fire. So there you go. Some great books we talked about this month, y'all. If you're watching on the replay, let us know your picks of the month and your favorites of the month in the comments down below. Nick, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Bob.
Final thoughts. I forgot to ask y'all for thumbnails, so I don't have any of that stuff. But what you got coming up, Nick? Who are you? Links to all these people in the description below.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. Yeah, Nick Comic Culture. So you can find me on YouTube and Instagram. I do a weekly comic book review show, just very similar to this one here, every Saturday night, 7 p.m. Central Time. And I also do new comic book day hauls and new release videos on Wednesday. So if you want to know what's coming out, or if you're local around Middle Tennessee and you go to Cadets Toys and Comics to get your stuff, you can get a sneak peek of what is coming out every Wednesday right there. Also do top-down back issue dives, things like that. Getting into some creator interviews with the 2 guys down below, especially. And we did the Precious Metal one as well. The whole panel here was a great time. And yeah, man. Yeah, got a lot of exciting things coming up very soon and going to Heroes Con. So if you guys are going to be there, be on the lookout for all of us. And we'd like to say hi to you. So,
yeah. Have sake and sushi with us, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sake, sushi, and socks. That's our plan. Yeah. We're going to get some sushi, some sake, and we're going to go buy socks at Target. That's what we're going to go do. We all need them. We all need socks, don't we?
Right. Yeah.
Who doesn't need?
We always need new socks. I literally just bought a pack of socks that I'd already bought like a year ago because they're starting to get holes in them. And I'm like, oh, I want to keep these socks. There's like Freddy Krueger ones and shit like that. Anyway, Stu, speaking of cool ass socks, I've never seen your socks, but I bet they're pretty fucking cool. You're just wearing those ones with the like what? Let me guess.
I just have black socks, man.
Those. Oh, I was about to say. I bet you wear those. I bet you wear shorts with those knee-high white socks with the fucking blue, yellow, and blue stripes on them. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Wait, that's not cool. We shouldn't be doing that. Damn it.
New Balances. I definitely have New Balance and Asics. Yeah.
Stu, who are you? What you got coming up?
Yeah, man. You guys can find me at Dr. Doom's Fan Club on YouTube and IG. Drop in comic book content there, surrounded by short boxes where I talk about back issues I loved and why I love them, and also Ink and Insights every Wednesday night with this beautiful gentleman right here. Me and my homie 9-Panel Grid rotating back and forth across both of our channels, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, just talking our favorite new comic books. So come catch me on Dr. Doom's Fan Club or 9-Panel Grid. And thank y'all for having me. Always a pleasure, fellas.
Always a pleasure. Eric, 9-Panel Grid. Who the fuck are you? Why should we care? What you got coming up?
Just like everyone here, comic book reviews, they're happening. Why else would I be here if I wasn't doing weekly comic book review style contents here? So look for 9-Panel Grid on all the socials here across the board here, or at least most of them. Like Stu said, Ink and Insights every Wednesday. We just recently dropped the Daredevil Born Again overview, looking at the gallery edition of the book here. Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli. So if you haven't had the opportunity to check that out, definitely consider checking out the video here. But yeah, catch me all around the interwebs and all these great videos.
Hell yeah. I just want to point out to everybody, we're at the tail end of March Madness. I believe that Verno has already done The Invisible Man from 2020. Did that earlier this afternoon for special time. Dylan's going to be talking about In the Mouth of Madness for his finale. But for the actual finale, Monday night, The Lighthouse, the Robert Eggers film, starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, here on PCP Movie Night, 8 p.m. Central Time. I rewatched it last night. That movie's great. Speaking, you want to talk about farts?
Yeah, right. I wish I could talk
movie.
like Willem Dafoe nonstop. I just wish I talked like him in that movie nonstop.
Yeah.
No shit. I gotta memorize that toast because I want to start the show off with that, but I'm like, I'm gonna fuck it up. I know I'm gonna fuck it up. He's got that, like, I was listening to the commentary and Robert even says, yeah, his accent is really spot on, but we did highlight certain things. Like, you don't get so many hard R's with that particular accent, but we needed him to sound like a seaman, like a pirate, like R. You know, he's got a lot of that shit going on in there.
Come in here talking all that gruff.
But you liked my lobster, didn't you? That's so good. And your goddamn thoughts. Yeah, you got Willem Dafoe sounding like a pirate. You got Robert Pattinson sounding like a fucking Kennedy. It's a great movie. It's a great movie, and I can't think of a better movie to end March Madness with.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Yeah.
Definitely check us out there. We're dipping out. Thank you all so much for being here. We appreciate you. My final thoughts are this. If you want to talk a lot about farts, that's fine, but you can't spam the chat.
Yeah.
Right?
Facts.
And don't use burner accounts.
Yeah, that's the worst. Like, because you already have them fucking made, Lottie.